and a 617 number ending in 7135.
Hello.
Hi there. Who's that?
I'm the 210.
Eric.
Yep. Well, I guess we'll get started. As hopefully you know, my name is Eric Friedman. I'm the executive director here at the Mad River Valley Chamber. And, you know, it's been quite a lot has happened over the last year for sure. This has been my first full year at the helm of the chamber. And, you know, things were going great there for a while. And we had some new members, and we had lots of new members joining. And we had a lot of positive momentum going on. And then COVID happened. And the chamber was really forced to flex, and we became a real vital information source for our business community. And our mission morphed into one of providing cohesiveness and leadership and being a communication platform and support to our membership base. The feedback that I've gotten has been that we've been pretty successful in keeping our members informed on the ever-changing relief programs and the business landscape generally. And I sincerely hope that from your personal experiences, that has been the case. You know, as Winston Churchill once said, and we've talked about this in our chamber board meetings, you know, he once said, "Never let a good crisis go to waste." And you know, our board has been really, really proactive, and we've been meeting, you know, for a long time. Up until very recently, we were meeting weekly, and we really collectively saw that the pandemic was an opportunity for the chamber to exert itself as a leader in the business community, more so than we ever had been. And by doing so, that we could give ourselves the best opportunity for the organization to emerge from the crisis as a viable entity, and for the business community to emerge as strong as possible, because we knew that we were more powerful together than separately. And the fact is that our business community needs the chamber now more than ever, and we're here to help our local businesses community stabilize, pull together, and map out a prosperous future for the Valley. You know, one of the casualties of the pandemic was the belt tightening here at the chamber that unfortunately cost us Ginger, our membership services coordinator. But I want to point out that because of the foundation that she and Jasmine laid before I got here, that we've been able to remain relatively solid in these challenging times. And we're poised to position the Mad River Valley as we go into the winter and beyond. And I really want to acknowledge Ginger and Jasmine for doing that, because, like I said, the foundation that was laid, it was a good one, and that the board and the direction that foundation that they laid was really, really important to us. So before going on, I'd like to turn it over to our outgoing board chair, Peter MacLaren, for some opening remarks.
Thank you, Eric, and I appreciate your introduction. It's been an interesting year for sure. And I certainly want to start by thanking Eric. This is not the job that Eric signed up for. Eric came on board because we knew of his marketing prowess and his ability to outreach to everyone in the community, and he's certainly done that extremely well. But at the same time, he's turned on a dime and really done everything he can to help our members and indeed the whole community deal with all the fallout of the pandemic. So I do want, on behalf of all of our members, to express our thanks to Eric for all the work he's done in the last 15 months or so. He's been a huge asset to the community in his current role. I'd also like to thank the board. As Eric said, since the crisis started, we've been meeting very frequently, courtesy of Zoom, and it's been very helpful to really keep on top of what was going on and to set priorities and make sure we were doing the best we could to support the community.
Turn the video on.
My thanks to all of the board, both the ongoing and the board members that will be leaving, who I'll talk about a little bit later on. I'm also, really appreciative of the fact that the vast majority of our members have hung in there. I mean, obviously, everyone's been prioritizing what they're spending the money on, and I think the vast majority of our members appreciated the value that the Chamber's been delivering, and that's allowed us, while we've had to tighten our belt a little bit, as Eric has said, we've been able to continue to provide services, and we can only do that because of the contributions, the investment that each of our members makes to keep things going ahead. And right now we are trying to get a little bit more back to business as usual. Eric has endeavored to do a virtual, well, not virtual, a physical opening of the visitor center without people actually coming in. So we've been able, particularly as foliage season starts, we want to be ready to greet visitors and do what we can in that regard. And also, I do need to make a shout out to our landlord at the visitor center. They've been very generous in reducing our rent during this period of crisis, which is one of the things that's allowed us to continue. We've had similar support from other vendors, including Waitsfield Tel and others, that have really helped us keep our expenses to a minimum. So with that, I'd certainly like to welcome, we seem to have 48 participants, which is a great turnout. Hopefully a few more will join us as we move along this evening. But thank you to everybody that's here. So I'd like to move ahead with the agenda. And we're delighted this evening to have, talking of outgoing people, Win Smith, the outgoing president of Sugarbush, to say a few words and to introduce us to his worthy replacement, John Hammond. And then we'll have words from Rusty from Altera. So Win, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Actually, no, I'm going to interrupt you, Peter.
Okay.
A couple things I wanted to say before we get into that, if that's okay. I just want you to know that Peter is outgoing, as I mentioned. He's been a real driving force in the Valley since he and Susan moved here and purchased West Hill House. What I really appreciate most about Peter is his level-headedness, his attention to detail, and his diligence. He's really taken his responsibilities very, very seriously, and I'm really appreciative of that. He's been a pleasure to work with over the years and has been invaluable to me as I've taken the reins here at the Chamber. And I want to thank you so much, Peter, for everything that you've done in your time here. And the Mad River Valley is a better place because of you. So thank you. Speaking of which, as Peter mentioned, he's not the only one moving on lately. Win Smith recently announced his retirement from Sugarbush, as he said, and Win purchased Sugarbush when I was just at the beginning of my career at Mad River Glen, and our tenures have kind of run parallel for many years. I think we have a real admiration for one another, and I've watched him turn Sugarbush around from the ASC days and really brought it to a much better place. But more importantly, I've seen him really give back to the Mad River Valley community in so many ways over the years. And I've always been impressed by the way he has continually worked to make the Mad River Valley a better place. And what stands out, most for me over the years was his response after Hurricane Irene, and the aftermath, and how he really diligently really rallied our community and was incredibly generous in so many ways. More recently when the pandemic happened, I was in communication with Win pretty often, and he literally said the exact same thing every time we spoke, which was, Eric, what can I do to help? And, Win really meant it. And so many times he came through to help, in different ways. He came through to make the Mad River Valley a better place. And I came to understand that, that Sugarbush's motto, the be better here, he really took literally and seriously. And, it just made me think about that. And, it's not just a marketing tagline. As us marketing guys, we like throwing that crap around a lot. Win, I think, really, really lives it. And, this past week, my wife and I were on vacation, as we were talking about earlier. And I was talking about, Win's impact on the community. And I in the recent, and I expressed to her that I wanted to acknowledge Win and give him a gift of some kind or do something in his honor, that he's, for everything he's done for the Mad River community. And she suggested creating an annual award to the person who exemplified Win's spirit and desire to make the Mad River Valley a better place. So as soon as she said that, I'm like, oh my God, that's a great idea. And, what a better way to honor Win than to create the annual Win Smith Be Better Award. So without further ado, the inaugural winner of this year's award is going to go, and just so you know, I'm deciding this. And from here on out, this is the executive director's award to hand out. But we're going to do this every year. And it's going to be noted on our website. And we're going to do, no one wants plaques and crap like that. So we're going to do special gifts for that person, whoever it is. So This year, the inaugural winner of the award goes to a person who has done yeoman work for our chamber and for the Matter community over the years. Not only has he served on the chamber board and as board chair, he's also served on the Matter Valley Planning District, was voted Vermont Innkeeper of the Year by the Vermont Inn and Bed and Breakfast Association. He and his wife single-handedly took an old derelict gas station down in Warren and turned it into a welcoming visitor center on the valley's southern gateway. He's been a welcoming mentor to new lodge owners and has been an ardent supporter and advocate for our local business community. And everything he has done has been incredibly selfless and always with the goal of making our community better. So I can't think of a better, more deserving recipient than our outgoing board chair, Peter MacLaren. And we'll be sharing this honor, as I said, on our website. And I wanted to present Peter with a very special gift that we selected just for him. Peter, you can now open up the gift. Go ahead. You gotta unmute, Peter.
Yeah, Susan has been keeping this until she said you said the magic word, so I wasn't aware what it was, but thank you very much for your gracious comments, Eric. Let's have a look and see what's in here. Paper.
Yes.
Pardon the noise here. More paper. Oh, this looks interesting.
More paper.
More paper. This is a MacLaren tartan mask, which is rather fun. And not to be outdone, a second MacLaren tartan mask. Thank you. I'll hold up to the camera a bit closer so you can see it.
Yeah. That's for the missus, Peter.
Okay. And a nice little note. They're CDC compliant. They're not medical grade. Good. That's great. Listen, thank you very much indeed. Very, very timely and appropriate present. So thank you, Eric. Win Smith, thank you very much for being named the award giver. And I certainly appreciate all the nice comments. So I will put my mask on and I will turn it over to Win.
I just want to know, did I get the right tartan?
Yes, this is the MacLaren tartan.
Okay, good. Excellent.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Eric.
Well, with that, I'd like to turn the meeting over to Win Smith, who will be introducing the person who will be stepping into lead Sugarbush into the future. Win, it's all you.
Well, Eric, thank you. And I'm obviously very, very honored to have an award named after me, and I can't think of a better first recipient.
Right.
Peter, I remember when you first became chair and you came to visit me and you said, what do you think of the chamber? And we actually, if you remember, had a fairly frank conversation. I think I said to you, you know, we're members of the chamber, but I'm actually looking at more as my civic responsibility because I'm not seeing a lot of value added. And I think that was a tough message in many ways, but you listened to it. And I will say that under your leadership and bringing Jasmine in and Ginger in and now Eric, you know, the chamber has really become value added to us at Sugarbush as well as to the entire community. So I really credit you with your foresight, your persistence, and you are a persistent guy too, which is very important. And, you know, you stuck with it, you did a lot of good and you made things happen. So congratulations. And I'm honored to have an award given to you, Peter. So thanks very much. And, you know, Eric, thank you for your kind words. And also thank you in my first week of retirement for inviting me to do something. This is really thrilling. I mean, to really be asked to do something in the first week of retirement. You know, when I got back from Colorado, there was a package that was delivered to me from Vermont Flannel. And I thought it was a little odd. Maybe it was really meant for John Hammond, but I opened it. And it was from the Chief Innovative Officer, Jim Baker, I think his name is, and he gave me a bathrobe. He said, this is something to enjoy in your retirement. So I'm not sure whether to be offended or to think that I'm going to be the Hugh Hefner of the Mad River Valley, but it was a really gracious gift, and I thanked him, and I probably won't wear it during the day, but maybe in the evening to semi-retire. But, you know, the other day, my son said to me, you know, Dad, the first time you retired, 9/11 happened. And the second time you retired, we have a pandemic. So please don't retire a third time. And we'll see. I haven't decided that yet, but probably will retire a third time. But, you know, when we first started talking with Alterra, obviously we were very proud. We're on the way to a record year. Just had a record year, actually. But I really said continuously that that's not the result of me. It's really the result of our team here at Sugarbush. And I've been blessed over the last nearly 20 years to have a remarkable team. Some of them, like John Hammond and Kevin Babbitt, have been here longer than I've been here. We have a lot of new faces, but it's a really strong team that believes, Eric, and what you said, is making this a better place every year and also being invested in the community. The first time I retired, I actually left a firm that had come off a record year, but it was going to be run by a person I didn't respect, a person I thought was going to take it in the wrong direction. And so I retired, and it wasn't a really happy retirement because I had planned to stay there for a lot longer. But I retired, and it was a good move because it allowed me to come up to Sugarbush. This time I'm retiring, and I feel really good about my retirement because I know I'm leaving the place in really good, strong hands, both locally and also, under the leadership of Rusty and the Altera Mountain Company. So, and John Hammond, many of you know, John has been around for a long time. He's been really one of my key executives for really most of the 19 years that I've been here. He started at Sugarbush in the 90s. He grew up in Middlebury. He went to the University of Vermont, actually studied with David Kaufman in the recreation management area. And Eric, you should be proud to know he actually started as a marketing intern. So he knows something about marketing. I don't think you're going to be able to BS him as well as you BS me. But then he started as a ski patroller, worked his way up to head of ski patrol. And then I put John in charge of mountain operations a number of years ago and gradually added to his portfolio. So he has ski and ride, he has really the whole rec services area, summer operations, in addition to what you traditionally think of as mountain operations. John is vested here in the community, lives in Fayston, has 2 beautiful daughters, has a wife who's a partner at Gravel and Shea in Burlington. And so what you see now following me is somebody who is, I think, as good as there is in the ski industry. He knows the business. He's a fabulous skier. He has great respect among the industry, but he also importantly knows our community, knows the valley, knows, how to carry on. And I'm really looking forward to enjoying, the next number of decades with my family and seeing Sugarbush continue to get better each and every year. I do want to say just a word about Rusty, who's going to speak a little bit later. Some of you saw Rusty when he was here in November. And I said at that time that I was really convinced that Altera was the right next custodian for Sugarbush. And I meant it at the time, and I mean it even more now, because what we've seen in the last 6 months is the power of being part of a family of really competent resorts with good talent is adding to us. It's helping us. They have the financial strength, but I also think they bring to us a lot of knowledge that we couldn't gain on our own. So I'm really comfortable with the local team, and I'm really comfortable with the team from Altera that's going to be carrying on as well. So Eric, thanks again for the introduction. Thanks for giving me something to do. I have to bug off to another Zoom call at about 6:15, but I'll look forward to staying with you until then.
Are you sure it's not just a pickleball game?
No, this unfortunately is my fee earning corporation I'm still on, and I get paid meeting fees.
Carry on.
Thanks very much, Win. So John Hammond, I see you're on the call. Would you like to say a few words to us?
If I can figure out how to unmute it, I can. There we go. Yeah, just, thank you, Win. Exciting to take over in these super mellow, relaxing times with no challenges facing us. Look forward to just a nice, easy, smooth year.
Awesome.
Thanks, John. It certainly sounds like Sugarbush is being passed over into good and experienced hands. So we'll certainly look forward in the community to working with you. Big shoes to follow, of course. Win has been a key figurehead in the community, Win, and it's been a real pleasure working with you, both in my role as chamber, but also as an innkeeper and an individual. So it's been a real privilege, and obviously we're looking forward to continue seeing you in the Valley for a long time to come.
Thank you, Peter.
So with that, let me pass it over to Rusty to get an update from your perspective, Rusty, and what's happening in Altera and the foreseeable future for skiing.
Well, hello, everybody. Thanks for having me on a call today. I'm in California, and the wind shifted, and there's no smoke in the air at the moment, but it's quite smoky out here with all the forest fires going on around Mammoth Mountain. I'd like to first of all express the same sentiment that I did when I was out in Sugarbush, and that is what an honor it is to have Sugarbush as part of the Altera Mountain Company family. I really mean that. You know, this is a company, Alterra, that's built by skiers, a lot of operating people like myself, like John, that kind of came up through the ranks and now running together a pretty large enterprise. And I'd really like to express my appreciation to Win. There's nothing like getting to know somebody when you're acquiring the love of his life. And Win has a very close connection with all of you, his community, and his employees, and the brand of Sugarbush. And it's really been a great learning experience for me, and one in which I've developed great respect for Win, how he thinks about his community first. And that's something that that I want you to hold me to personally, and Alterra to. You know, we say and we mean that particularly during these crazy times of the pandemic, that we're first and foremost about protecting our people, our guests, our employees, and our resort communities. And I'm personally accountable to you for us doing that. Big shoes to fill in Win's, and been a pleasure. I've known Win for a long time, distantly in the ski industry, but really been a pleasure to get to know Win, and have a great deal of respect for him and for what he's accomplished. And congratulate John. I'm on his promotion to president and COO of Sugarbush. And it's so refreshing to hear that things are relaxed and laid back there during these crazy times. Because I can tell you they're not relaxed and laid back anywhere else in the world that I'm aware of, and definitely not in the ski industry. It's a time of great uncertainty and of great instability, and add to that the social revolution that in many ways has been a long time coming, but has chosen this time to rear its head. And so it's a very unusual time for community leaders like you and business leaders like me to lead and to manage in the circumstances that we find ourselves in. So John is the head of Sugarbush now. He's also the senior spokesperson and leader for Alterra in the community. We have a very decentralized organization where the authority, responsibility, and control is delegated to our heads of each one of our 15 resorts. And John is that person now for you, and you can look to him for where Alterra stands and also on where Sugarbush stands. And but since you're here with me, I'm happy to answer questions if I can. I can tell you that we have been since the closure of our resorts on March 15th and the reopening for summer and the operations under the pandemic, pressure of the pandemic, and developing plans for next year. We'll be coming out next week, on the 14th, with a fairly comprehensive review of how we think about winter going forward from the Alterra perspective. And there'll be more details of that from John after that communique comes out in the weeks following, leading up to wintertime. But I can tell you it's been very challenging for everyone in the industry to try to figure out how to provide a great experience on the hill, but most importantly on our mountains, but most importantly protecting people with masks, with social distancing and crowd control, and all the other things that need to go into that to keep our people safe and to keep our resorts open and to comply with local jurisdiction regulations. So it's all been very mind-numbing. We've got a 180-page operational deck that we've been developing. Every day it seems to get longer, about everything from hand sanitizer to cashless transactions and other things in the resort. So we are, like you, adapting, and we will be working with you to adapt to the special needs and circumstances, yes, of the pandemic, but particularly of the Mad River Valley and to Sugarbush in particular. I'm very committed to working with you step by step for each one of the changes that we will inevitably have to make together through the winter to keep things up and going and safe. So again, it's a pleasure to be with you and happy to answer questions if that's appropriate. And otherwise, I'm enjoying being back in Mammoth, the mountains, after not being here for 5 months. And it's a pleasure to be on the call with a bunch of other mountain people as well. So thank you all very much for having me today.
Thank you, Rusty. We'll do Q&A at the end, but we really very much appreciate you participating this evening and for your careful stewardship, obviously, of the ski area and what's a very challenging time. So, John, did you want to say any additional words at this point, or do you want to hold your fire until announcements on the 14th?
Well, I think we're going to be pretty light on the specifics until next week. But, I can tell you that everything we do is really focused through the lens of our employees, the guests, and the shareholders, and really trying to make sure we're doing the right thing, in our community. We live here where it's important for us to have it be a fun, great, vibrant experience for everyone. So I'll leave it at that. And since Matt already told everyone how to run the place last week, the Q&A should be a little easier.
Yeah, Peter, I'm sorry to interrupt. I'm unfortunately going to have to hop off, and I've got a bunch of other calls lined up, which is like a lot of us, the way I spend my days. So I'm sorry for making those other commitments. But as I said before, John is our senior representative for Alterra now, as well as the head of Sugarbush. So I know he'll be able to answer your questions. There's a lot of things, as he indicated, that are in process that'll be coming out here soon. But we're still weighing the pros and cons of a lot of different things we're considering. And I'd be happy to come back at any time with a little bit of advance notice to participate with John in Q&A, town halls, being yelled at, whatever it takes to make sure that we're listening carefully to all of you and the community, so that we can do our part. So, Peter, thanks for having me, and John, good luck with your crowd here.
Thank you, Rusty. Very much appreciated. By the way, one question: Will Sugarbush be doing a community day at some point in the fall, as you have traditionally, to give everyone an update?
Yes, we will. We'll still do the Saturday and Sunday of Columbus Day weekend. We'll run the lift, and we'll have some activities going on up there. And expect the press for that coming out later next week as well.
That's great, John. Thank you very much. So I appreciate that update. So let me pass it over to Matt at Mad River Glen to give us an update from Mad River Glen. And goodbye, Rusty. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rusty.
Thank you very much, and good to see you, Rusty. Welcome, John, and thanks, Win, for all your service at Sugarbush. It's been great working with you, and I look forward to working with John and his team for many years to come. As noted, it's obviously been a very interesting spring, summer, and now leading into fall. And really, we're doing the same as everybody else. We're trying to wade our way through it, figure out things as best we can with the massive amounts of uncertainty being thrown at us, and really make the best of it. So. Hopefully a lot of people have seen what we've put out via our website and our newsletters, as well as our letter to shareholders. And to sum it up, what kind of the basic principles that Mad River is going to operate under this winter is that we are going to remain open for skiing for as many people as we safely can, and in whatever format we can. So we have made a choice, both on the management side as well as on the board side, to continue to operate, even if that means it's just limited to lifts and bathrooms, pass holders and shareholders, whatever format we possibly can until we are mandated to close. So that basic tenet is what we are focusing our efforts on. And then really what we're doing is we're building out what we're calling our COVID levels for right now. We're building out 5 different operational plans that will be publicly distributed on our website, as well as other places that we'll be referring to, both with our staff and our guests throughout the season, that are going to dictate how we operate, what we're offering, who's able to ski here, how they're able to ski here, and work off of that. So those are still in development. We're trying to fine tune them now and turn them really into an operational document and plan into what's available for public consumption. At what we're calling basically level 5, which is where we're at right now, we are not anticipating, we are not going to be requiring reservations for our pass holders. We're always going to have spots for our shareholders, and we'll be selling a limited number of tickets online and in advance is our goal. One of the big changes to our offerings this year that I think will affect a lot of businesses and as well as people in the Valley and people visiting is we're not selling our Mad Card product, which is a very, very popular product and was a big decision for us not to do. And for those that don't know, that offers 3 lift tickets bought in advance. And it was a really big way for a lot of people to plan their winter and come up to Mad River. But we just couldn't find a way to practically offer that product to people. So, that's the big change that's out there right now. And the other, big message to people is that the best way to guarantee a spot on the hill when we're operating is to either be a pass holder or a shareholder. And so we're trying to focus on that message right now and get that out to both the local community, as well as people, abroad. And the other big message is that we will be following all of the mandates set forth by the state of Vermont and the CDC. Both to protect our staff as well as the community. So I think as a lot of people are finding, trying to communicate to people, that there is a map that they need to follow. I'm surprised now that we've kind of got ourselves out publicly how few people outside of our area know about that map and understand it, but we got a lot of education to provide people there, and do our best to enforce, not enforce, but to inform people that is our operating policy. Just like a lot of people, we're not in the business of being, travel police and enforcement, but we do need to inform and ask them to follow those rules as best we can. As a cooperative and as a relatively small ski area, we're going to be relying on our staff and our guests to do a lot of self-policing and take care of each other as a community. And we're hoping that is successful. And so far, I think our efforts are working. Overall, it's like as everybody's mentioned, it's very, very, very dynamic. It seems to change by the day. We're definitely waiting for more guidance from the state as far as what the winter is going to look like. But we do feel confident that we're going to be able to remain open in skiing and not require reservations. We've got 600 acres of skiing, a single chair and 3 double chair lifts, and a parking lot that limits our capacity largely to what we find is sustainable for our experience on the hill. That's not to say that inside the base box and our other indoor venues, we're not going to have capacity restrictions. We're fully anticipating that, but we always feel that we can provide a ski experience and one that doesn't require reservations. So for a lot of the local community and others, an afternoon of skiing after a morning's worth of hard work or otherwise is something that we feel strongly is something we're going to need to get out and recreate and enjoy ourselves and blow off some steam, because it can be a long winter for us all, and we want to be a resource for that. Otherwise, we're looking forward to getting out to our business community, our inns and lodges, and helping them work through ways to have guests and then get them skiing here. The uncertainty of whether or not people will be able to get a lift ticket is obviously weighing on everybody's minds. But we're hoping our online platform will enable people to do that and plan accordingly. And we'll take it as it comes. So other than that, we're looking forward to opening up for our foliage weekends, which is 3 weekends starting on September 26th. We'll be operating the single chair to the top for hiking and requiring masks and everything that goes along with that, and providing some outdoor grill and barbecue options. That'll be highlighted by our green and gold weekend for shareholders on October 3rd and 4th. And we're anticipating a lot of people coming back and wanting to say hi, wanting to get up and hike around the mountain and spread out and enjoy themselves. Finally, I'll say for those that have followed or driven by, I want to say we're getting near the end, not quite near the end, but we're focusing right now on finishing up our big capital projects this winter, which included a total of $3.2 million invested in our patrol and ski school building, which is a complete demo and rebuild, and then a large renovation of our base box, which has been a lot of great things to provide better services, make it more efficient for our staff, a better environment for our guests as well. At the same time, keeping that Mad River feel that has been that way for so long. A lot of added benefits in a COVID world that we're looking forward to, and better ventilation, more bathrooms, and all the things that go along with that. So it's been an exciting summer. Really looking forward to getting back into fall, and just like starting up school for those of us that are parents, it's going to feel really good when we can kick off and open and get to doing what we do best, which is operating a ski area and dealing with the uncertainties as they come. I'm really looking forward to that. And talking about everything in the abstract has been really hard for months on end. So I don't know if we're taking questions now. I can certainly hold on for later. Just like Win and Rusty, I do have another call that at some point I'm going to jump off on. And at that point, I can always ask Eric to send me a text if questions come up and jump back on.
Well, thank you, Matt. Thanks for the comprehensive overview. And obviously, we're all looking forward to making the ski season the best it can be in the circumstances. But given timing, it might be a good idea to take any questions now that relate to Sugarbush or Mad River Glen skiing. So if anyone has a question, just unmute and pitch in. Hopefully it won't be chaos. So go ahead. And if anyone has some questions after the fact, just drop an email to Eric and we'll pass them on to John and Matt and get feedback back as appropriate. So last call for any.
Peter, I've got a question.
Go ahead, Karen.
Hi there. I'm curious how the two mountains are going to handle the no J visas. Who's going to run the lifts and do all the other jobs that foreign workers have done in the past?
I'll take that quickly on the
Matt,
Mad
do you
River
want to handle
end.
that one? How you're going to deal with it?
Yeah, I can handle mine's easy. We hire locally and we've not used J1s in a very long time. John, good luck with your site.
Well, luckily, I guess. No, we've got some people, some H-2Bs that are signed up. I'm actually looking at the Spirit of Ethan Allen right now, where we have, I think, 4 people that work there during the summer and then come and work for us in the winter. And then we have a couple more H-2Bs, that we're looking to, find work for. But really, we're hoping that we can fill the spots with local college kids that aren't going back to school, or, the local community. Now that the unemployment is above 2%, hopefully that we can find the labor staff or the labor force in the Valley, or at least in Vermont.
Thanks, John. Any other questions before we move on?
I will say one other thing. Matt mentioned that the Vermont Ski Area Association, trying to get some information to the state. We all have to do restart plans for the state. And so we have been working with the Vermont Ski Area Associations. All of the ski resorts are trying to get together next week to finalize our plan and have that put in front of the very loud powerboat leaving in front of the state. And then the National Ski Area Association also released their plan 2 weeks ago. And those are guidelines that, all of the ski resorts in North America are going to be using about social distancing and proper ways to operate your mountain.
Thanks, John. That's very reassuring, actually. Any other questions? Okay, well, let's move on at this point. We've got a few business items to deal with. The next one is the approval of the minutes from last year's annual meeting. I know they're excellent because I wrote them, but would somebody like to move adoption of the minutes from the 2019 annual meeting, please? Don't all shout. Would like to second them? Chris Mitchell, thank you. Okay. Any comments, questions on the minutes? All in favor, I assume yes. Any negatives? Okay, motions to pass them unanimously. Thank you very much indeed. So we'd like to talk briefly about the budget for the coming year. So Eric, do you want me to pass that back to you to introduce briefly what we're doing for the budget?
No, not really.
Okay.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding, Peter. Our budget is pretty lean anyway. And what we tried to do was kind of figure out, after talking to my colleagues with the Vermont Association of Chamber Executives, which is a thing that I didn't know existed before I took this job, but it is a thing. And been talking about, what we're concerned about losing membership and the ability of members to pay during these times. And we are budgeting for a 10% reduction in revenues. And that is, we actually think that there might be more, but we're also hoping to get more new members in, which is happening. We actually got a new member today, as a matter of fact. So That's what it's based on. Our budget is not terribly exciting. There's, outside of the salaries, which is the biggest portion, I should say salary, is our website. It's maintaining the visitor center. It's maintaining the office, and that's pretty much it. I mean, it's really a pretty lean budget, and we accomplish a lot with not very much. There is a link to the budget in the annual meeting information that was sent, and I encourage you to take a look at that. Is there anything else you want me to talk about, Peter, or you want to add?
Just a couple of comments in addition. Obviously, our objective this year, given the uncertainties, is to be conservative. And we hope that we will do better than that in terms of overall income. And clearly, the upside priorities are going to be doing more work on our website and marketing. These are important priorities. Eric's been doing an amazing amount on the website. If you've been looking at our website, every month you'll see that there's continuing improvements. Those of you who've been around for a long time will recognize that about 3 years ago, we made an investment to make our website much more manageable, and we split it between a marketing website, which was focused on visitors, and a member website, which was focused on the information required by our members. And that's allowed us to continue to evolve the destination marketing side of it. And Eric's been working on that to try and make it more associated with guest experience and less associated with just individual items. And I've been grouping things under activity headings. We hope to do more of that. Eric's had some volunteer help with that, and we're hoping to put more investment into that and to our search engine optimization as funds permit over the coming year. We still do have some reserves. Well, what's published there is the P&L. We do still have some reserves on our balance sheet. We're using these judiciously. They're available to be used under direction from the board. And we have authorized Eric to spend some of that to do some work on improving the website if and when it's judicious to do so. One of Eric's talents is that he is a very careful manager of money. So he's been spending the least amount possible while getting the maximum amount done. And we're going to sort of continue in that mode until we get a much clearer idea of where the overall investment income is going to come this year. So I think the board is pretty comfortable with the budget. It does not require approval by the members. It's provided for information, but it has been approved by the board for the coming year. So thank you for the budget. Any immediate questions on the budget? I'll assume none. So let me move on to the nominations for the board of directors and officers. First of all, I would like to particularly thank the outgoing board members. We have 3 board members who are retiring because they have completed their 2 terms of 3 years, so 6 years on the board, and have given us a lot of contribution at that time. One is Laurie. Thank you, Laurie. She's been very, very helpful, particularly helping us with a lot of the things on the retail side and coordinating that. The second, who unfortunately can't be with us this evening, is Jim. Jim has been very, very helpful on the public relations side. Jim, as you may know, is a fairly accomplished author, and he previously did a lot of public relations work for the ski area and other things. So he has been very helpful as we need to craft information for public consumption. Jim, unfortunately, had a last-minute conflicting engagement this evening, is not able to join us. And the third is myself. So as you've heard, I'm leaving this evening as board chair, having served actually 6.5 years on the board. Last year, the chamber board, under the new bylaws, invited me to extend my term, which I did. So I'm really well overdue my welcome now at 6.5 years. Under the new bylaws we have, the outgoing chair can continue as an ex officio advisor to the executive committee. And the board have asked me to play that role to help with continuity. So I won't be totally gone. So I'll still be around to advise the executive committee. So again, my thanks to Laurie and Jim for their work. Now, I also want to mention Chris. Now, Chris has been with us for the last year. Roger was on our board also for 6 years and turned out at the end of last year. And Chris Merchant very kindly agreed to step onto the board. We always have a representative from Waitsfield and Champlain Valley Telecom on the board, as we do from Sugarbush. Diane is our representative from Sugarbush and will be continuing on the board. Chris has been very helpful to us over the last year, particularly as we've had to actually figure out ways to spend less money with Waitsfield Tel as our budget crunch came in. And Chris, we really felt that we needed to get the maximum amount of experience on the board for the coming year, given all the uncertainties. And Roger has volunteered to come back and help the executive committee, assuming he's nominated this evening. And Chris very graciously agreed to step aside so that Roger could come on the board, because we usually don't have two members from the same company. So my thanks to Chris, both for his help for the last year and for his cooperation in helping Roger get back on the board, and Chris for your ongoing offer to help us in whatever way is possible ongoing. And I'm sure we will take advantage of that. So thank you to Chris. So with that, I'd like to move forward with the nominations, which were published on our notice of the annual meeting. We're really delighted with the individuals who have agreed to step forward to be our incoming board. That it's going to be a tough year, maybe more than that, and we really wanted to get the maximum representation from important businesses in the community on our board. And I'm really delighted to introduce to you the four new directors that we are nominating this evening. And this is a decision that needs to be made by the shareholders to agree to their nomination, or indeed to nominate anybody else. So I don't believe we've received any other nominations. Is that correct, Eric?
Correct.
Okay, so the four nominations we have is, first of all, everyone enjoys a good beer. So we're delighted, as Lawson's has now become such a significant force in our community, that TJ Greenwood, who plays a senior role working for Karen and Sean at Lawson's, is agreed to join the board. So TJ, do you want to say a couple of words of introduction?
Sure. Hi, everybody. To start, I couldn't be happier and more honored to represent Lawson's Finest on the board here with the Chamber. I fell in love with the Valley when I first arrived here in 1991, 22 years old, fresh out of college, and helped open the Mad Mountain Tavern, which is now the local folk smokehouse. And at that point, the first winter here, I said, I'm never going to leave here. This Valley is a super special place. And in 2005, I did leave for what I call a quick decade down to the corporate world, where again, when I got out of college and I came to the Valley, I said, I'll never be a suit. And then when I left in 2005, I went to Atlantic City and I became a suit for a quick decade. But I feel like the knowledge I gained and training and things in hotel operations and people management, I was able to bring back and help Sean and Karen, grow the business. And being as community minded as Lawson's Finest is, again, I'm super honored to be part of the board and help represent us here in the community. So thank you.
Thank you, TJ. We're certainly looking forward to your contribution to the board, of course, and also your contribution to the community in your new role. Second, well, I think he has left us. We're delighted that Matt from Mad River Glen has agreed to join the board. We all felt as the board of directors that having representation from both Mad River Glen as well as Sugarbush on our board was very important. And we're delighted that Matt agreed to join us on the board. Matt, I think you have dropped away. If you're still there, you're welcome to say a few more words. I think he's off doing something else, but I think obviously you all heard what Matt is up to. And delighted that he's joined the board as well, or is nominated to join the board. Next, one of the other major important institutions in the Mad River Valley over the last 2 or 3 years, which we all appreciate. And in fact, I just happen to have here some of their beautiful new cheese. What's it called here? I should look up and see what it is. It is the
Bailey Hazen Blue.
Thank you very much indeed, Bailey Hazen Bliss is the new blue cheese that the Taste Place just has. And we're delighted that Mary Tuttle from the Taste Place, who you all I'm sure know and love, is going to join the board, subject to your agreement to the slate this evening. Mary, we'd like to say a few words.
Sure. I'm thrilled and honored to have been asked to do this. I have only been in the Mad River Valley for 3 years now. It's the 5th state that I've lived in, Vermont being the 5th state. And I, like TJ, don't think I'm ever going to leave. So I'm here, and I figured it's time to really cement myself into the community. So really looking forward to this opportunity and helping out the community.
Thank you, Mary. Certainly the Taste Place and your leadership of that has made a huge difference to not just to tourism, but also to represent all the artisans of various kinds of food around the valley and around the community. And I think it's been a marvelous publicity for those. So thank you. And thank you for agreeing to stand for the board. And last but not least, as Ray mentioned, Roger Nishi has agreed to come back and lend his expertise to the board. Roger, want to say a few words?
Well, first I want to start off by thanking Chris for his year of being on the board. And at first, when I asked him this, he was like, but I really want to come back next year. I'm the one that listens the first year, learns everyone, and then I really get into my groove the second year. So it took a little bit of convincing, but he does live in Burlington, so he has some other things going on in other areas that we operate. So he's going to move on to those items. I'm looking forward to being back. I'm looking forward to continue to contribute and making sure that the chamber continues to be successful in all its endeavors. And thank you, Chris. And thank you, Peter.
Thanks, Roger. And also, I'm really delighted that one of our new innkeepers has agreed to join the board. Sean has only been with the Madrid Valley, I don't know what, just less than 2 years, I believe, but has been extremely active in the lodging community with lots of great ideas. Been active in all of our weekly meetings, which funnily enough we've been having as well. Have been very, very useful during the COVID time. So Sean, we're delighted to have you on the slate for the board. We'd like to say a few words.
Sure. First of all, I'd like to say that the first time I met Eric, I told him I don't want to do anything like this. I hate doing stuff like this, and I never want to do stuff like this. But really, through this pandemic, having the chamber meet with the lodging community weekly has been a huge help to us, and I think other lodging members. And I hope that it kind of goes off to the other members as well. But it really told me how important the chamber really is, you know, for this community in general. And so I'm you know, it'd be a great thing to just help the whole community together and keep us moving forward after what's been going on lately, and getting through this whole thing together.
Thank you, Sean. We really appreciate it. Eric relayed your story to me, and I'm really glad that you decided that it was a worthwhile endeavor to be active on the board. So thank you for agreeing to stand. Just to go through the board members that are continuing, who you all know: June Anderson, Kevin Bagan, Mimi Butenheim. Now, I assume Mimi is here somewhere. She's our treasurer. Been doing a lot of great work with Eric and our bookkeeper to ensure that we managed to keep things stable during this challenging time. Anna Dan, who I'm going to mention in a second about as incoming chair. Diane from Sugarbush, as I've mentioned previously, and also Jack Shari, who's been a very sage advisor, representing to a large extent the second home community, which is of course a very large part of our constituency in the Madrid Valley. So they've agreed to continue on the board. In terms of officers, first of all, I would like to send my appreciation to Anna. Anna became the vice chair at our annual meeting last year, and in anticipation of taking over as chair this evening at this annual meeting. So I would like to certainly endorse Anna's new role to be nominated as incoming chair for the board for the coming year, or hopefully few. Roger has agreed to take on the role of secretary, which places them also in the executive committee, which I think will be very valuable for Anna to have a voice of experience to assist her there. And Mimi is continuing as treasurer. We also have one additional role that exists on the executive committee, and that's the role of vice chair. And we've agreed to what we're proposing at the moment to keep that role vacant and probably make a nomination to that role during the coming year or next year's annual meeting. Will ultimately be the person that will take over from Anna in the future. So that is the nominations. You've heard from each of the new directors that we're nominating. And as I said, the slate for the officers is Anna as chair, Roger as secretary, and Mimi continuing as treasurer, and myself ex officio as advisor. So I as chair, outgoing chair, would like to move all of those nominations and board roles, officer roles. Would someone like to second that slate? I see Brad Cook seconding that. Thank you, Brad. Would anyone like to make any further comments, concerns? Would everyone like to vote in favor of approving? Just wave your hands if you're in favor. And if anyone objects, please speak up. Okay, I'll make that unanimous. Thank you very much indeed. So I'd like to wish the new incoming board the very best in a challenging year. I would also like to thank them for a presentation. In addition to the beautiful masks that I received as part of the Win Smith Award, I also received this evening this beautiful cheese board, which I originally, and a knife here, which I've been enjoying with my new cheese and crackers during the meeting. So thank you to Anna and the board for that presentation, very much appreciated. So that is in fact completed there for the nominations. And at this point, I would like to pass it over to Anna to say a few words as incoming chair.
Thank you so much, Peter. And I would just like to start by thanking you for your leadership and your mentorship over I don't even know. It's been maybe a year and a half now since you approached me and I joined the board. And I've learned a lot from you. You've been terrific. And I'm very glad that you're going to continue in an advisory role for us. I still have a lot of things to learn. And I will attempt to do, some of the things that you've done to carry on and to move us forward. And in that vein, I welcome all the new board members. I look forward to getting to know all of you better and to really getting around the community and speaking with many of you I know. And it's delightful to see you here. And I look forward to working with you more closely. And Eric, I think it's going to be a great partnership. You've done very nice things. And I'm honored. And I thank you all, and I look forward to this next year. And once again, thank you very much, Peter, for your leadership and inspiration. I really got a lot out of my association with you so far, and I'm sure I will continue to do so.
Thank you, Anna. All the very best. Thank you for stepping up. So the next item on the agenda is just a brief update from Eric on the work plan for the coming year. I think you've covered a lot of that in your introductory comments, Eric, but would you like to say anything in addition in terms of highlights on your agenda for the coming year?
Yeah, thank you, Peter. I wanted to just point out that the Chamber Board, as I mentioned, was meeting quite often after the pandemic got started. And it was really obvious that we needed to do a review of the strategic plan. And I thought that was a really great exercise to go through. And in many ways, it was really affirming in that our leadership realized that our mission and values didn't change very much. And in fact, they're more important now than they've ever been. So I encourage you to take a look at the strategic plan because it is the basis for our ongoing work here at the Chamber. And it's vital in keeping us focused and efficient and meeting the needs of the membership. I just want to reiterate that what our vision is. The Mad River Valley, and again, all of this is on our website, but I think it's worth reiterating it. The Mad River Valley is an economically thriving, socially vibrant community that appeals to vacationing visitors and offers positive work-life balance of business owners and favorable amenities, serenity, balanced for full-time residents and second homeowners. And our mission is to improve the economic well-being of the Mad River Valley business through leading destination marketing, building brand equity, and creating a unified and engaged community. So I just think it's important to keep reiterating what it is that we're supposed to be doing so that our membership is fully aware of that. Our ongoing efforts include our communications, the email updates that you receive. You should also be aware that our visitors receive a different email update. So that's really, really important. The programming that we do, the business education seminars, the coffee and conversations, the videos, the Mad Mingles, those things will continue going forward. As Peter mentioned earlier, we talked about the website, and that is our key, most important thing that we do. I really, when I talk to new members or people that are considering joining the Chamber, I say, oh, what do you do for us? First and foremost, we have this landing page on our website. We have this landing page where people that are trying to come to the Mad River Valley have a place to come to get the basic information. If we don't have that, we don't have any business community here that can be cohesive in any way. So it's really, really important that we do that. And I wanted to make sure that we don't minimize what that is. When you go online and you do a search for the Mad River Valley, we're the ones that come up in the vast majority of the cases. So we're working really hard to enhance that, do a better job with that. One of the big things that I'm really working on is the experiences end of it. We used to have just kind of a laundry list of things to do. And I encourage you to go to the things to do section of our website and take a look at the fall things to do and how we're trying to create more content. And you'll see, instead of just that laundry list, there's that have beautiful imagery and really good solid information directing people to what there is to do here, because that's why people come here. It's the skiing, it's the hiking, it's the biking, it's the shopping, it's the food. There's all these different things, and we have to help people be able to enjoy that. So that's a big focus of what we're trying to do. Another thing that you're going to notice on the website is, and more throughout the year, is I want to start talking about our neighborhoods. You know, I say quotes neighborhoods. We're geographically challenged in that we're not like Stowe. We're not just one town. We have business areas, and I want to, as I've been talking to visitors, I really have come to the understanding that they don't understand the geography of our community as well as we do. So I want people to know about what's going on in the hoods around the valley, you know, whether it be Irisville or Bridge Street or Warren Village or up at the mountains or over in Middlesex. You know, those are, you know, what we're trying to do. You may have also heard that there's a lot of people moving here. It's unbelievable the number of people that are interested in coming here. We've reinvigorated our relocation page on the website. That's really, really important, and want to kind of institute a chamber-wide kind of welcome wagon to coordinate with realtors and other businesses to make sure that people do feel welcome here and that they get the information that they need. So that's really, really important, something that we're working on. Some new initiatives that we're going to be working on this year, we're trying to develop a coordinated cooperative advertising program. We're also really excited about the collaboration that I've been working on with the Stowe Area Association and Discover Waterbury to promote our stretch of Route 100 as a destination beyond just the valley, because the fact of the matter is people don't just come to the valley. They go up, you know, they go up north a lot, and the people from Stowe come down this way. And if you noticed in the email updates, you know, you're starting to see blog posts and and web pages from Go Stowe talking about the Mad River Valley and the hiking down here and the shopping down here. We just did one about the beverage industry. And, you know, there was a time, you know, I've been living here for 30 years, and the idea over the years that someone from the Stowe Area Association would be writing a blog and mentioning what's going on in the Mad River Valley would be something that no one would ever think would ever happened. And we're seeing that, and it's happening, and it's really, really cool, and it's working. We're collaborating with Stowe and Waterbury. There's on a grant that we're hopefully going to hear about this week, a $30,000 grant to promote advertising initiatives and to get COVID relief funds, and working together to get that. And we think we can do that more effectively together. So that's really exciting, and we see some great opportunities for that. We also want to work on some cross-sector promotions between restaurants and retail and other sectors. So that's something that we're going to be working on. Also, our visitor center is really, really important. We're glad to get it back into business after a couple of months of not being able to go in there. I've been, you know, in my time at the chamber, I've been blown away by how many people come in there. I mean, it's hundreds and hundreds of people every month, and the ability to be able to talk to them and chat with them and direct them is invaluable. So that's really, really important. And then the other things is a lot of kind of behind the scenes in terms of working on our work plan and creating a timeline and spreadsheets that will keep us focused, and also working with Mimi, our treasurer and our bookkeeper, to really improve our financial reporting. And I feel really good about that. And then the other big thing that we're working on is membership and fulfilling membership level requirements that we've been working on. I got a new member just today. Phil Bobrow is a photographer in town. He just joined today. Rain Vermont just joined recently. the I'm trying to remember some of the other ones that we've gotten, but we're getting new members, which is really awesome. And we're trying to get out beyond the traditional sectors that have been solid with the memberships, which is the restaurants and the inns. That we're trying to get into the folks, construction businesses and lawyers and accounting. And some of these folks need to understand that the work that we're doing, bringing visitors here, they benefit from indirectly, and that they need to understand that, and that we all need to be pulling together in that. So that's really exciting. And then another big initiative that I'd like to start working on this year is a trailhead and swim hole beautification initiative. We've been taking a leadership role and collaborating with other interested organizations like the various towns, the Rotary, the Friends of the Mad River, the Rec District, Mad River Riders, Mad River Path Association. Our swim holes and our trailheads have been overrun this year, and it's been a problem in the past, and it was exacerbated this year. And that's something that we want to work hard on, because that is why people come here. So that's kind of what we're doing and what we're up to. And I'd like to open it up if anyone has any questions, comments, concerns about what the chamber is doing. Please let me know. I would also just like to say one last thing is that, I mentioned Ginger and Jasmine earlier. They really did such a great job in creating that foundation for us. But I also want to thank our volunteers, Charlie and Barbara and Sarah and Marie have been really, really great in staffing our office, and it's been really, really important. I'm trying to grow that group. If people are interested in helping out with that, we'd really appreciate it. And I'm also trying to work on a new way of doing it remotely, using some technology, thanks to another grant that we're working on with Waitsville Champlain Valley Telecom. So that's what's going on, and I'll open it up for questions if people have them.
Eric, I just wanted to comment. One of the things that you didn't talk about was social media. And I wanted to commend you because, again, that's a free way to get out there and get a lot of marketing done. And you've worked very hard at that. You're at it all hours. You see opportunities wherever you are. And thank you for that.
Well, thank you, Ivana. And one of the things I really want to encourage people is please use our hashtags, hashtag Mad River Valley. We're trying to do things, and you're going to start seeing this on the website. In various different areas. So like for the trails, hashtag MRV trails, for anyone, when we're dealing with, hiking and biking and things like that. MRV Eats for the dining area. And we're going to start hearing more about that. So yeah, goes without saying. I guess I shouldn't say go without saying, because it really is it's arguably the single most important thing we do after our website is the social media. So thanks for noticing, Yvonne.
Hey, Eric, that list of hashtags, we're trying hard to sort of put lists on every post that we do. Could you send out or send round or post on your website or somewhere just, the 6, 10, 12, whatever it is that you've got that you'd like people to use?
Yeah, absolutely, Mick. Thank you for saying that. And I will start doing that. They're going to go out in email updates. You'll notice them on social media. And I'm really glad you said something too, because you guys, I want to point out that if you don't know Mick and Karen, they own the Featherbed Inn, which is right on the right next to LaRue Farm and American Flatbread, and they've been working really hard with the folks at Mad River Riders and their trail system, and they just sent me a bunch of information about promoting that aspect of it. And it's a really cool story of how a local business is working with a local organization. And those are the kinds of things that are really helpful to me. I need things to talk about on social media. I need things to write about in blog posts. They're doing some really cool stuff with Salt and Sand and the yoga studio there. And I have not forgotten about it, Karen, and it is on my radar. That's one of the things I'm going to be doing within the next week. So they're doing some really cool stuff and cross promotion. And those are the kinds of cross-sector promotions that I'm talking about that I really want to encourage. So as our members, if you start hearing about interesting stuff, let me know, because I need all the help. There's only one of me, and I only have 2 eyes.
Eric, I'd just like to chip in one thing I forgot. My apologies, sincere apologies. I forgot to mention Susie Edwards. She's our other board member who will be continuing on the board. My apologies, Susie. I completely I was trying to do too many things at once. So again, my thanks. You've been on the board and been a very strong contributor since you joined us, and appreciate you continuing on the board to work with the incoming board ongoing. Thank you.
Oh, thanks, Peter. I thought you had voted me off and I wasn't aware, but thank you. Thank you for everything you've done for this board. I've learned a lot from you. Been great.
Thanks, Susie. So back to you, Eric. Anything else? Any other questions around the table?
No other question, but Peter, don't think you're getting away that easy. We're all coming back to you to ask questions and to keep you informed and keeping you in the loop. So don't think you're getting away so easy.
I'll be answering my emails, don't worry. I certainly would like to thank everyone who's coming this evening. We've had a great turnout. I think we've maxed out at 53 this evening. A few had to drop off for various reasons, but I think it's been an excellent format to have a meeting, given that we couldn't get together physically. So I appreciate everyone showing up this evening. And again, my thanks to Eric, the outgoing board, and the incoming board for all the hard work. And I think with that, unless there's any other questions, we'll call to wrap. I see Brad has a question.
I'd like to make a comment. Thank Sean and Karen for their generous 25% discount to help our happy hour on Lawson's Finest. And Eric brought up a point about collaborating with Waterbury and Stowe, which I think is a great idea because we are all in the same area, but are rather diverse. And I think one selling point is that as of now, the Mad River Valley has no traffic lights, and we don't have the traffic jams that Waterbury and Stowe have. So come to the Valley.
Quite right. Thank you, Brad, for the reminder.
Well, I have to remind you, for those of us that live in Waterbury, that live in Morristown, Brad, we've got two now.
Hopefully only temporary, though, Eric.
Yes.
Not our problem, Eric. Sorry. Oh, wait. Never mind.
I appreciate Brad mentioning our thanks to everyone that all the various businesses that contributed to the happy hour discounts this evening. So thanks for mentioning that, Brad. Any other comments before we wrap? Okay, so obviously, as Eric said, if anyone does have any comments, questions, suggestions, please send them to Eric. And Brad, you're just appearing out of the mist there. That's great. Looks like the snowstorm has stopped with you. So please do that, because that's the way we can be the most effective, is if we know what's on your mind, you know that your ideas and can leverage them to the best possible way, for our members and for the Valley. So with that, thank you to everybody. You're certainly welcome to keep on for a chit chat if you wish. But with that, I will ask for a motion to adjourn the meeting. Would someone like to move adjournment of the meeting? Laurie, thank you, Laurie. Someone like to second that? I see Brad, thank you very much. So I assume everyone's in favor, wave your hand. Thank you very much. So I declare the meeting adjourned at 6:45. Thanks everybody, and a very good night.